What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. JD Vance is breaking the internet. He hopped off of his campaign plane and walked over to Kamala Harris's Air Force Two plane. Air Force Two is the vice president, obviously not Air Force One, but Air Force Two. Walked over to the plane and dropped some gems. And then he continued on to dropping gems from the plane into the rally. And after that, we're going to jump into a little bit of what Kamala Harris had to say, what Tim Waltz had to say, and then what Kevin O'Leary has to say about Kamala Harris and Tim Waltz. And then we're going to finish it up with some Tucka. Thank you so much, everybody, for rocking with me. If you're in the comments, shout out. Let me know where you're coming from. And then I want to give a huge shout out to a few folks. Ninja Bear 1993, Jose Larazda 132, and then Rob Roser 8831. Shout out to y'all. I really appreciate you guys. Shout out to everybody also streaming on the other platforms as well. Let's dive into how JD was looking, man. I was initially a little kind of on the fence about JD because his showings as of lately, they've been hot. They've been super fire. He's just been hitting them, man. He's been hitting them with the lingo, with the receipts and points he's been making. But he hops off his plane, and here's the imagery. Yo, he's coming in hot. This scene right here, him walking off the plane over to Kamala Harris's plane, reminded me of this. This is the Avengers right here. Coming in. Man. Coming in hard.
I know you're covering the Vice President here.
One more. Here we go. You guys remember?
Minutes.
Rick, I thought you said this was a shortcut.
Fantastic.
Well, is it a shortcut or not?
Okay.
All right. We're going to roll into this video here. Shout out to everybody watching.
I know you're covering the Vice President here. I figured I'd come by and just get a good look at the plane because hopefully it's going to be my plane in a few months. But
did you hear what he said? I wanted to get a good look at the plane because hopefully it's going to be mine in the next few months.
It's going to be my plane in a few months. But I also thought you guys might get lonely because the Vice President doesn't answer questions from reporters.
I'm going to look at the plane because it's going to be mine in the next few months. And I thought you guys were lonely because the Vice President doesn't answer any questions from the media.
President doesn't answer lonely, but because hopefully it's going to be my plane. Let's get a good look at the plane because hopefully it's going to be my plane in a few months. But I also thought you guys might get lonely because the Vice President doesn't answer questions from reporters and hasn't for 17 days. Have they given you guys an explanation for why she won't take questions from reporters? No? Nobody? Okay, great. Well, I hope that she changes her mind because it'd be good for the American people, and I think it'd be good for you all if she actually ran a real campaign instead of one from a basement.
Bro, he's got some huevos walking over to the plane, talking to the press, and saying, I wanted to get a good look at the plane because hopefully it's mine in the next 2 months, next few months. which it will be. And I wanted to answer some questions to the media, the lonely media here, because it appears that Kamala Harris, which it's clear she hasn't answered any questions aside from the basement.
Because it'd be good for the American
Hyde and Harris.
people, and I think it'd be good for you all if she actually ran a real campaign instead of one from a basement with a teleprompter. So have a good one, guys. See ya.
What would you like to hear from her?
I'd love her to answer the questions. I'd love her to just answer what she wants to do and also explain why every single position she has changed. She pretends to be a prosecutor, yet she pretends to be a tough on crime prosecutor, and yet here she is wanting to defund the police. She's the border czar, yet she's opened up the American southern border. This is the person who has to answer the questions from the media, and it's disgraceful that she runs from you guys. It's also insulting to the American people. But anyway, we're going to go do our event. I appreciate you guys being here. I wish she paid you some more attention. See ya.
Dropping gems. What do you guys think of JD dropping those gems? It's facts, man. Look at this image here. This is on the thumbnail. Avengers Assemble right here. All right. I want to jump into this one. Now, JD Vance held a press conference in Michigan where he was absolutely on fire, super hot fire, with no notes, off the cuff, just dropping heat. Here we go.
The second thing I want to say is, while we're on the topic of reporters, Kamala Harris had another scripted set of remarks before a teleprompter yesterday, and today marks 17 days where she has been the presumptive Democrat nominee and 17 days where she has refused to answer questions from the media. President Trump will go anywhere, into hostile audiences, into friendly audiences, and answer tough questions. I will go anywhere and answer tough questions because I respect the American people enough to say that I should have to earn your vote. I shouldn't be expected to be given your vote while I hide in a basement or stand in front of a teleprompter, which is exactly what Kamala Harris has done. So I'd ask all the reporters here to show a little bit of self-awareness and demand that Kamala Harris actually do the job of a presidential candidate and speak to the media and speak to reporters. Until she does, you guys have got to stop giving her a honeymoon and pretending that she's something she isn't. This is a person who said she supports the police, yet she promoted policies to defund the police. This is a person who says that she wants a secure border, but she has been the border czar for 3.5 years while it's been wide open. And this is a person who says that she wants secure American communities, yet all of the people who are the police officers who are ensuring that we have safe communities, they don't seem to like Kamala Harris. And you guys have got to ask her tough questions about why that is. The media honeymoon for a person who runs away from the American people is disgraceful. It's not just disgraceful for Kamala Harris, it's increasingly disgraceful on the part of the media. So,
avoidant attachment much on Kamala Harris's part? Then I got this one here. Another strong performance when asked about Tim Waltz, his criticism with the military, and when his unit was to depart overseas, Tim Waltz left. Let's jump into that.
Sir.
Last night, Governor Waltz suggested that because of your Ivy League education and your Silicon backing your political career, that you yourself are part of the elite. What are your first impressions of them trying to frame you this way to the American public?
Well, look, I came from a family where nobody in my family had ever gone to law school. I grew up in a poor family. The fact that Tim Waltz wants to turn it into a bad thing, that I actually worked myself.
Yo, real quick. There was a video that I posted that had the thumbnail of Tampon Tim. If you guys got some videos or some footage, particularly some memes. Some memes would be sweet of Tampon Tim. That'd be great.
Through college, through law school, and made something myself. To me, that's the American dream. And if Tim Waltz wants to insult it, I think that's frankly pretty bizarre. Now, look, what really bothers me about Tim Waltz, it's not even the positions that he's taken, though certainly he has been a far left radical. You know what really bothers me about Tim Waltz as a Marine who served his country in uniform? When the United States Marine Corps, when the United States of America asked me to go to Iraq to serve my country, I did it. I did what they asked me to do it, and I did it honorably, and I'm very proud of that service. When Tim Waltz was asked by his country to go to Iraq, you know what he did? He dropped out of the Army and allowed his unit to go without him, a fact that he's been criticized for aggressively by a lot of the people that he served with. I think it's shameful to prepare your unit to go to Iraq, to make a promise that you're going to follow through, and then to drop out right before you actually have to go. I also think it's dishonest. Something, again, if you guys ever get an opportunity to ask Tim Waltz or Kamala Harris some questions, he made this interesting comment that the Kamala Harris campaign put out there, and I bet they're regretting they put it out there now, because he said that and he was making a point about gun control, he said we shouldn't allow weapons that I used in war to be on America's streets. Well, I wonder, Tim Waltz, when were you ever in war? What was this weapon that you carried into war, given that you abandoned your unit right before they went to Iraq?
Whoa.
And he has not spent a day in a combat zone. What bothers me about Tim Waltz is the stolen valor garbage. Do
Yeah, me too.
not pretend to be something that you're not. And if he wants to criticize me for getting an Ivy League education, I'm proud of the fact that my mamaw supported me, that I was able to make something of myself. I'd be ashamed if I was him and I lied about my military service like he did. Sir.
Checking him. All right, next one we're going to drop into is the Kamala Harris rally, Waltz and Harris rally. Let's see what Miss Harris had to say.
Things like groceries are still too high.
Ugh.
Because while our economy is doing well by many measures,
Finally, she's addressing something.
prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high. You know it and I know it. You know, when I was Attorney General, I went after price-fixing schemes. And when I am president, it will be a day one priority to fight to bring down prices. I will take on big corporations that engage in illegal price gouging.
Yo, aren't you vice president right now? Can't you just like work on these things at the moment concurrently while you're campaigning to be president? I don't know. You guys let me know. I think that's a viable option to, yes, you have to run your campaign, but also you could work on these things now to create a track record of things you're saying.
I will take on corporate landlords that unfairly raise rents on working families. I will take on big pharma and cap the cost of prescription drugs for all
You could do it now. You could do it now.
Americans and continue to bring manufacturing jobs back to America and back to communities like Eau Claire.
What do you guys think? What you guys think about that? Is it are they false promises? Are they false promises? I don't know. And then here is Tampon Tim.
And just so you
Tampon Teasy. Here we go.
And just so you know, when I was in Congress, I was the top gun at the trap shoot 3 years in a row. I can outshoot them too.
What?
I can outshoot these guys.
What? Who cares?
And just so you know, when I was in Congress, I was the top gun at the trap shoot 3 years in a row. I can outshoot them too. I can outshoot these guys. And just
It's just It's kind of cringy, but what do you guys think? I'm going to drop into Tucker, see what Tucker has to say. Oh, don't forget to hit the smash. Don't forget to hit the smash. Don't forget to hit the like button.
Weird, of course,
turn on
it's
your
the model.
notifications as well. Here's T Money. Here we go.
They're not calling JD Vance weird because they think he's weird. Is it weird to be like a straight guy who's married with 3 kids who work hard? I mean, it's the opposite of weird, of course. It's the model. It's conventional or was conventional in this country. So it has nothing to do with that. They don't care. What they care about is war. And it's not just the Democrats, it's Republicans in Washington. And they hate JD Vance, and they really do. And they have for a long time because he's questioned whether or not these foreign entanglements are good for the United States. It's not a matter of, do you like country X? Do you hate Ukraine or love Russia? It has nothing to do with that. The question is, should the U.S. government pursue this policy? Is it good for the United States or not? It's really simple. It's a very clear way to look at the world. And it's the only way that our leaders should be allowed to look at the world. And JD Vance has called them out on that. And so Republican leaders, Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell and, many, many others worked extraordinarily hard behind the scenes to stop JD Vance from getting this job. He got it anyway. They're enraged. They're working with Democrats to slander him, but they're not telling you why they're mad at him. And I think if I were the Trump campaign, I would say, we're not weird. Yeah, Judge, of course he's not weird, or maybe he is. Who cares? The future of the country's at stake here. You're leading us down the wrong path. You hate JD Vance because he's called you out on it. And we're opposed to your program. That's the problem here. And I think buying into any of this crap, like, Carmela's social media brat stuff, like, who cares? It's stupid. That's for teenage girls. This is the United States of America. It's the most powerful country in the world. It's in decline. How do we stop that decline? By making better decisions, the opposite of the decisions that she and her senile partner have made for 4 years. So that's how I would address it. Like, don't even play along, actually.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it's just so ironic. Some California Kamala, as I like to call her, anybody from California calling anybody else weird is weird on the surface.
Well, yeah, but everything they say is the opposite of what the word actually means. The defenders of democracy just took out the sitting president with not a vote being cast. They
Yep. Facts.
Threatened him into not running again. That's not democracy. That's the opposite of democracy. That's oligarchy. It's very obvious. It's out in the open. So these are the defenders of democracy. No, of course they hate democracy. They're against weirdness. No, there's not a single person in Democratic leadership with a happy, healthy marriage. So they're calling JD Vance weird. It's like, just be quiet. Adults are talking now.
Whew. JD dropped some gems. Tucker dropped some gems. And you are going to drop some comments down below. Thank you guys for tuning in. Drop your comments down below. Let me know what you think about JD walking across the tarmac and addressing the lonely press that Kamala has not addressed. Drop your comments down below. And also, if you haven't checked out the 3 parodies that were released by Mr. Reagan on X, I'm going to place a link for that video down below. As always, guys,